welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, it's quiet in here because we finally don't need the AC on.
Yeah, we're getting to the back half of summer, so
That's depressing. Let's not talk about that.
yeah, it's depressing, but at the same time, it's nice when it's like low 60s to mid 60s in the morning, and then you can just enjoy sunrise, and then you're not dying outside, so that's enjoyable. But welcome back, everybody. We got a fun-filled episode planned. A quick shout out to our sponsors. Addies, thank you so much for your logo. And then Queen City Creative Works, Etsy shop on roids, family owned, married couple, 2 kids, 2 dogs, and they can make customized items and ship them right to your door regardless of where you live. So head on over to queencitycreativeworks.com, click their shop now button, and then you can also buy personalized branded merchandise that has our logo on it too. So Queen City, thank you so much for your continued support. Today's useless fact is actually going to start from a question that I have for you.
Oh, okay, perfect.
What is the heaviest weight you've ever picked up?
We're not talking like gym bro dumbbell. We're talking like estimated weight of like
I'm
a
saying
car
just
or
what's
something if you
the
pick the weight
heaviest?
up.
Yeah, what's the heaviest weight you've ever picked up?
So like you can go a couple ways because
just say a number.
There's a person too.
Just say a number.
250.
What's her name?
Ouch. No, probably 250, right? Like a big dude would be 250 if I ever lifted him. And I don't think I've done well, no, because I've deadlifted more than that. So I don't know, 350? I don't know. I don't really go crazy. What's yours? Like 14,000?
No, ew. No.
Ew.
My bones would explode. Most I've ever benched was 305.
Okay.
Thought my wrists were going to shatter.
Love that.
That was actually recently after graduating high school. And then
That's not recent.
No. Recently after graduating high school is when I did 305, which was years ago. But like it was.
Why did you put high school in there then? Just say recently.
No. Because it was. I graduated high school, and then shortly thereafter is when I was able to bench 305. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay.
It does, but like
Yeah,
it could have
so
been an
like-
easier way for you to say this.
Sure, like 2011, 2012 time frame, I guess. I don't know. What you're yelling. And then I've pulled a lot of muscles. I've pulled like 315 for relative ease post deployment, but I never maxed out on a deadlift really beyond 315. Like I would rather rep 315 for good form than try to like blow something out.
Well, you don't want to mess with that either.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
the
go
thing.
hard, your back's done.
100%. Like I respect the actual lift way more than trying to like ego lift or whatever, especially like deadlift, bench, and squat. I just respect those movements too much to kind of keep pushing it and then risk it. But yeah, I mean, I don't really like try to squat as much as I can. I would rather risk things on leg press than I would just normal back squat.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, lift safely and all that stuff with like friends. But yeah, I don't know. I never got into powerlifting anyways. It was just kind of, you know, functional fitness per se, not CrossFit because it was all bodybuilding type exercises for years, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to do like 30 plates. Like I never cared.
Did you ever watch like Mariusz Pudzianowski during the World's Strongest Man
Of
competition
course.
and all? Dude, those things were sick.
Absolutely.
Did you see that dude collapse though when he was trying to do those anvil balls or whatever they're called? What are they called? The things that you pick up and then you have to put on the stone.
The Atlas stones?
Atlas stones.
What year did that happen?
They always do that, but when the dude collapsed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was asking.
2017, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he like tried to put it up, and then he just fell backwards and like basically died.
The stone landed on his chest.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. That circulated the internet really quick.
You know, Mariusz Pudzianowski tried MMA for a while.
He did. Yeah, he did well too. He dropped a lot of weight and then.
Well, the dude was a unit. Like he was a fit unit.
Oh, 100%.
He wasn't like one of those. What's that one dude, Mike Stone or something like that? The dude from the U.S. who was just a big dude, but like he wasn't mobile. He was just like a rock where he couldn't move. Pudzianowski was actually athletic.
Right.
That's scary.
Absolutely. You also have guys like Brian Shaw that are fairly athletic as well, which is the same with Eddie Hall. It's kind of crazy because you see dudes like that. At his heaviest, Brian Shaw, I believe, was just over 400 pounds, and he's 6'9", like just a 6'8", like just a massive human being. And they've actually had him on stage next to like Mr. Olympia bodybuilders. Some of those guys are like 5'6" and 5'10", and then there he is. And they're like, okay, like, yeah, I'm sure, like, I'm very dedicated to my craft, as is he. And then he's like, but I can, bend a frying pan with my hands and like roll it. And he's done that before. Like, it's just crazy strength.
When do you make that decision that like this is what you want to do? I feel like everybody that I know, which isn't many people, but like that are over 6'8", are some sort of athlete. Like, do you just have to be one?
You
if you're
know
that
someone
tall?
over 6'8"?
Yeah. Do you just have to be that tall?
Who do you know who's that tall? Like,
maybe not
you
that tall.
personally
Maybe
know him?
6'6".
The
Yeah.
tallest person that I personally know was 6'6", and it was my English teacher, and he was a basketball player in Germany.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're that tall, do you have to do sports?
No. It just makes sense, though. Sports are also just great for you.
True.
Especially, between development, everybody knows the positives. Of course, everybody knows the negatives, but I just feel it makes sense. If you're 6'6", not everyone's 6'6", so you might as well try to, take it as far as you can, instead of just being that awkward accountant.
Do you wish you were taller?
No, not really. I'm good at my height.
What are you? Because we're like the same height, 6'2".
Yeah, I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
My license says 6'2", but I got her to boost me up a little bit. If I have no shoes on or anything, and I'm just standing there like back against the wall, I'm 6'1.25".
Still? Yeah. When do people start shrinking?
I was just so obsessed with my height, dude, because all I wanted to be was 6'2".
Like, if you start shrinking and you're under 6 foot at some point in your life, are you gonna start crying? Like, will that be one of those times where you're just like, it's over for me?
Debatable. It's definitely debatable. Yeah, I mean, that's
like you go to the
that's a
doctor
thought.
and she goes, "You're 5'10" now." Are you just jumping out the window at that point?
I mean, most doctors' offices are only one floor, so I don't really know how beneficial that would be unless you like.
Well, you're 5'10" now, so that's a far jump down.
Sure. Yeah, like if you sperm dive and you just like, like.
What is the average height for a man? 5'10"?
I think so. Let me Google that, but I believe so. Which isn't bad. You know what I feel bad for are women that are over like 6 foot, because then they're just always kind of looking down, like Rachel from Boy Meets World. Rip. She's alive. But, she's like, she made interesting career choices after her acting career went down. So average height for a man. Anyways, I don't know. I'm very traditional in the sense of a man in the U.S. I'll be specific.
Yeah.
It's 5'9". So
Okay,
yeah,
close,
5'10".
yeah.
Put shoes on. So I just feel bad for women from a traditional sense that, I don't know, in my mind, because I'm kind of traditional in some ways, I suppose, in 2023, that the man should be taller than the female. And, it would be nice for your woman to be able to wear heels and still be shorter than you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Did that start back then as like a power thing? Like back in early days that men wanted to be taller than women because of power?
I'm sure white men from Britain like ruined it. I'm sure. I mean, they pretty much ruined everything in the world. So,
because definitely being over somebody is like, if you're taller than somebody, that does automatically make you feel more powerful. That's a common videography and cinematography trick, that if you're portraying somebody that is weaker, the person is always sitting down and the person stronger is always up. So it's always an upward angle for the stronger person and a downward angle for the weaker person. That's extremely common in Hollywood. So I wonder if that's why we have this perception that taller women don't necessarily make sense if you're a small dude, because it's just like, can I get a piggyback ride?
yeah, it's also just kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Like from an outside lens, if you just see the opposite, you're like, not jiving.
Would you date somebody that was taller?
No,
Well, if
no,
someone was
I
taller than
don't.
you, they would be WNBA. So like Brittany Griner level.
Yeah,
that
but
would be
still be
somebody.
really bad at basketball, right? So they actually there's a recent video going around of the highlights. It was like Fox Soccer put it out, and it was highlights from the Women's World Cup, and it was literally supposed to be a highlight reel, and it was just missing goals, like missing passes. I was like, this is atrocious to watch. And then they'll do like side by sides and be like men's World Cup highlights, and it's such a different game.
Dude, so you're gonna make fun of me because I watched this, but there's a professional disc golf that is on TV now.
You really want to say this on camera?
Yeah, and there's an FPO division for females, and there's these couple of videos of like people being from here to the camera away, which is probably 5 feet, and when she throws it, it gets stuck on her finger, and she yanks it 15 yards to the right, like nowhere near the basket, and everyone's like, what are we doing here? And she 4-putted from inside like 5 feet. Dude, it was so funny because now every time that we go and Tom misses a putt, I'm like, what are you, an FPO?
That's awesome.
Listen, women, they're special. We're clearly joking, but not really. So,
But yeah, I would never date someone taller than me.
Yeah.
And I haven't. I just, no. And now my wife is 5'1". So
now what if you kind of swung the other way and you were into dudes? Would you then date someone taller than you or no?
this is kind of funny.
Because you're definitely the female in the relationship.
Everybody says that. We need to tone it down. Not necessarily wrong. I don't know. I can be a little spoon. You know, probably should have waited until you swallowed. Pause.
Heavy pause.
Not as heavy as your heaviest weight.
Right.
Anyways, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I'm not even going to go down the rabbit hole. I'm not. I'm avoiding the question. I'm going to go full politician, and I'm going to avoid the conversation. Next question.
Well, so the useless fact, was there a record of the heaviest weight or something, or did you just bring it up?
No, that was a useless fact.
Gotcha.
It's a useless fact about you for the audience.
What is the heaviest weight that anyone has ever picked up?
I think Eddie Hall's deadlift of 1,100 pounds, I think, is still the record. I don't know if anyone beat that. You want me to just search heaviest deadlift? Because that's basically like world's heaviest deadlift would essentially be the heaviest weight picked up.
When they do like the world's strongest man competition and they lift a car, is that actually considered a deadlift?
Well, it's also the shell. It's the frame of the car.
Well, yeah,
it's
obviously.
not right. So
just say the heaviest weight ever picked up by a human. Heaviest weight ever lifted by a human.
Heaviest weight lifted.
Well, is
Guinness Book of World Records lists the feat. It was a back lift. Okay. Paul Anderson
no idea who that is.
in 1985. I don't know if that's real.
It's in the Guinness Book of World Records, bro. It has to be real.
The Mountain set the world record for deadlift.
The Mountain. Oh, I know the Mountain. That's the dude from Game of Thrones.
Right. But it says that Paul Anderson lifted 6,270 pounds.
Shit.
It's a well-documented and still unbroken feat. Paul Anderson, of course, was a noted Olympic gold medal winner and strongman. If you are unfamiliar with the back lift, it is an old-time lift which was very popular with many of the greatest strongmen. So it wasn't a deadlift. It was a different type of lift, and he moved 6,000 plus pounds.
What is a back lift? Does it say?
Okay, so
6,000, what is that, 3 tons? Because isn't a ton 2,000 pounds?
what is a
Jesus Christ.
What is a back lift in? Okay, weights. A back lift doesn't always look the most impressive. Weights are moved a few inches at most and supported by the lifter's back with their arms and legs braced against the ground and or a raised implement. So I'm going to show you the image of this, and then we got to figure out a way to put it in.
Just take a screenshot and put it in the cloud.
Yeah, you're basically. You're almost like about to get down on all fours. So you bend over.
Can you show me?
Yeah, you bend over, and then you literally have the weight resting against your back perpendicular to you, and then you just like push off the ground with all fours and move the weight. It's like a standing all fours position.
Okay, so is that cheating? Like,
I don't think that, like, to me, a deadlift is more impressive than
100%.
that. So if I'm looking at the heaviest deadlift ever recorded, Heaviest deadlift 2023 male.
I pushed my fridge into this area with using
Totally the same thing.
cabinets as a brace, so I'm basically the world's strongest man now.
So, Hacksaw Thor. Let's see. The heaviest deadlift world record. Let's see.
Wouldn't your joints like break though if you have 6,000 pounds on your back? It's not impressive to move. Okay, it is impressive because obviously I would never be able to do that. But I feel like moving it 1 to 2 inches is kind of cheating. It's like that dude at the gym that goes on the bench press and he puts like 400 on and then he takes it off the thing, goes like down a half a second, goes back up, and then he puts it back on the thing. Like that's not really lifting it. You're just kind of struggling moving it.
Yeah, I agree. Hackthor from Iceland in 2020 beat Eddie Hall and moved 1104. It was 501 kilograms. And then in 2022, April 2022, with straps and sumo style, which is important, a man from Poland moved 502.5 kilograms. So basically it's just over 1,100 pounds, 1107.8. So if you can move...
What did the dude from Iceland do? It wasn't sumo?
I mean, they're all kind of like slightly variations of sumo, but yeah.
But it matters.
But yeah, it was. They're all basically the same. They're so big that they're just so wide. Yeah. So it's, so 1,100 pounds is the heaviest recorded deadlift. And then they're basically like 1107, 1105, like it's basically just under 1110 is the world record deadlift, which is disgusting and absurd. Because if you pull 405 in a commercial gym around here, it's just like, all right, like that dude's strong as shit. Like leave him alone, he's fine, you know?
Yeah.
And then if you're repping 405, it's like, okay, kind of like you're weird. You know, like calm down. You won. You don't have to come back. You know, like you won the gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're moving 1,100 pounds, that's just absurd.
I feel like even if you do it successfully, your back is still shot. Like, can your spine...
Your whole body's got to be super sore after that lift. You know? Like, you just got to ache.
Because that's not even like deadlifts are good for you because there's muscles in your back. But if you do one thing wrong, your spine is done. Like, it's different than a bicep curl. Your bicep curl, you have bones and like cartilage in your elbow and everything like that that's helping, but it's not discs in your spine that can be messed. Like,
well, that's the thing.
Crazy.
That's why form is so important.
Yeah.
Because you have to load up, you have to load the bar, and then you literally drive through your heels and keeping your butt down, keeping your spine in alignment. You don't hump your back because then you're screwed. Yeah. Especially, you know, even half of that weight, you're screwed.
Right.
315, you're screwed. So
throwing a piece of paper in a garbage can, you're screwed.
Right. It's all core.
Yeah.
It's all core. But that's a lot of weight, man.
It is. I don't like it.
No. So we have a few things lined up. We're doing a marathon recording day, which is exciting. So for the next like 3 months, you're going to be seeing us wearing the same clothes, which is mint. We're starting. So overall layout, we should do like marathon record ep 1, ep 2, ep 3. That would be fun.
If you want to know why we're doing this and kind of why we're busy, you have to head over to Patreon because we're going to be recording a video for patrons only documenting what we have coming up because we've said this for a very long time, but we're very busy now. We've gotten a lot of the podcast, the Buffalo Happy Hour business has grown to a point where we have no other choice but to marathon record, and it's going to be difficult during the Bill season because I still want to do weekly records because I like talking about the most recent games. But we have a lot of stuff on our plate right now, business-wise. So if you want to know what else is going on, you have to go to patreon.com/Buffalo Happy Hour, where we're going to be filming a video just for them and not you nerds. So go head over there and even subscribe for the $3 tier. That is our lowest. But what else were you going to say? So I just wanted to let them know that they got to go over there to hear more specifics.
No, for sure. But yeah, we got a nice little lineup. Each episode is going to have a topic. And then we can just kind of dive into a few things. If you want, we can touch on one quick.
Hell yeah. What are we at?
20?
20? Yeah, we got time.
All right. So let's start with the debate. We got 10 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
We'll debate it for 10 minutes.
Love it.
If you eat every 3 hours, do you start the timer from when you start eating or when you finish eating?
It depends on which meal it is. So, like, if I am eating between breakfast and my first snack. Well, actually, let's do it the other way around. Let's do lunch and my first snack, because I don't eat breakfast. So if I start eating lunch at 12 and I finish lunch at 12:30, and then I don't do my next meal until 4:30, I do from the end of the first milestone and then the beginning of the next milestone.
Yeah, so you start the timer from when you finished eating.
Yeah, and then start it when I start eating.
Wait, what?
So if you say that I eat every 3 hours,
Yeah.
it's from the time that you start eating or stop eating your first meal and then start eating your next meal.
Well, right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you start the timer from when you finished the last bite of food. So when you're how this whole thing came up is since hour 1, bro. Hour 1. Me and Colleen, my wife, my beautiful loving wife, were feeding our baby daughter every 3 hours. And we both were like, okay, so it's every 3 hours. She finished her bottle at 12:30. So at 3:30, she'll have her next bottle because that's 3 hours from when she finished. That's how it was. So it was 7 weeks. Okay, 7 straight weeks of that. Then she hits me with, no, we start the timer from when she started the bottle. I'm like, that makes 0 sense. And that change came out of nowhere. And then she goes, I've been doing that for weeks. I'm like, no, you haven't, because she's been here for like 7 of them. So that's not true. And I'm convinced that it was from like postpartum memory loss or whatever that women deal with that I wouldn't know anything about as a man, but that's a thing. And she just flipped it because she read something and she's like, oh, so okay. And then just never communicated it, because then obviously it's been a debate ever since. It makes 0 sense to me, logically, black and white. I'm not a gray person. I'm very black and white, very literal. If I'm eating every 3 hours, why in the world would I negate the 30 minutes it took me to eat something if it, say, took me 30 minutes to eat? Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. If I'm eating every 3 hours and I start eating at 12, I'm going to eat until 12:30. Okay, I took my lunch break at 12. I'm done eating at 12:30. I will now eat again at 3:30. I'm not going to eat at 3. That's 2.5 hours. It
Right.
took me 30 minutes to eat. I was wrong. So I called people. I texted you. You were busy. I called a coworker. It was Saturday, 9 o'clock at night. Called a random coworker who we debate every day, pretty much at work. And I was like, where are you on this? And he agreed with me. And I'm like, thanks. And we just hung up. And then on Monday, he goes, why did you call me Saturday at 9 p.m. to ask me that question? You had me rattled. I was like, sorry. But to me, that's what it was. And then now I'm wrong.
Well, that's what happens. The men are always wrong. But if it takes you an hour
Yeah.
to eat,
Then it took me an hour. And then, so if I eat from 12 to 1, I'm eating at 4. You know?
there's an eating
Math.
there's an eating window.
Correct.
And, like,
you
it
don't
is-
count the eating window.
Correct.
When the window closes, timer starts.
Yeah. Because it's technically not between meals, it's your fasting time. And your fasting time stops when you have your last caloric bite.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Yeah, this wasn't much of a debate because we agree. I don't like when we agree on things.
I'm sure we'll debate within the next, 7 hours of us being here today recording. So,
Yeah, what are we doing for lunch? That's going to be our first debate.
no, there ain't no debate there, friend. The debate's the side, but you know damn well what the main course is.
Dude, we ate like 17 pounds of chicken wings last night. Did you see how many chicken wings we had on our grill?
I love how the
So
comment was,
many.
Derek, just put them all on.
Yeah, just put them all on. It's fine. Just do it all. We ate them all.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How much water did you have to drink after those?
Not that much. I mean, there was 4 of us, so it wasn't
Oh,
wasn't
I thought
crazy.
it was just you and Gina just going ham.
No. It was me, Gina, Tom, and Nicole.
That's
Oh,
hysterical.
it was so funny. All right. Well, yeah, let us know what your thoughts are on that feeding window. And what is your biggest weight that you've ever lifted?
And what's their name?
Yeah. Did it lift the weight off your shoulders when you did it? I don't like that phrase. Was there someone's like, where do you think that came from? Well, actually, that probably came from like when they had people build the pyramids in Egypt, and it was like, let me take the weight off your shoulders. And that was kind of how that started.
I don't know, man.
All right. Well, thank everybody for joining to today's episode. Again, if you want to hear more about what we have going on, the big news that we have dropping and all that stuff, head over to patreon.com/Buffalo Happy Hour. Let's just say we're more than a podcast. We've been saying that for a couple years now, but now we're actually kind of making the moves towards that little phrase there. So thank you, everybody. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Head over to our other channel, BHH Whiskey Talk on YouTube, where we do whiskey reviews and interviews with head distillers. We just released the interview with Mike Cameron from Devil's River, which was super fun. They're an awesome company. So head over there, check out that interview. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on all channels, and we'll see you guys next week. Please remember to always drink responsibly, be a good person. And Michael,
Do not litter.
we're out.